have a client who every time she turns up for a session, she's talking about guilt. This is in a group session, so I haven't had a chance to respond directly to her, but I thought I'd just share this for anybody who's suffering from guilt. And guilt is a big issue for us. And guilt's not all a bad thing, because guilt keeps us on track. Guilt is giving us feedback about when we're living according to our values or not. And guilt basically is about when we make a mistake, when we do something that we deem as bad or wrong. My therapy definition of guilt is that it's a psychoneurophysical contraction. What that means is that it's a form of contraction in our body that happens when we judge ourselves or judge what we've done as bad or wrong. And there's lots of reasons why we feel guilty, almost no end to it, whether it's eating chocolate ice cream or eating 2 chocolate ice creams, or, losing our cool as a mom or a dad, or letting somebody down, or whatever it is. There's a long list of stuff. And the question is, well, how do you deal with that? How do you work with that? How do you heal that? How do you get over guilt? Because guilt is something that we create in our mind, we can get into an argument with ourselves about, I'm a good person, I'm a bad person, I'm a good person. And it's like goes round and round and round. One day I'm good, one day I'm bad. It's like you can't really resolve it. As Heisenberg said, the same thinking that created a problem can't be part of the solution. So what we need to do to heal guilt is actually to go underneath it. And to realize, first of all, that guilt happens because we judge. Right? So we judge. And judging is something we do cognitively. It's not something that's innate to anything that actually exists. We just decide this person is bad, this event is bad, this shouldn't have happened, I shouldn't have done that. That's a judgment that we make. The more judgmental we are, the more guilt we're going to experience, right? The less judgmental we are, the more accepting we are, the less guilt we experience. So that's the first thing, is to look and see and understand that guilt is something that we create in our mind by judging things as bad and wrong. It's not something that's innate to what exists, because sometimes we judge something as bad or wrong and it turns out to be good, or we judge something as good and it turns out to be bad. So it's very much a personal thing that we create. The problem with guilt is that in our culture, we're trained that the guilty need to be punished. That's the formula that we learn at home, at school, and in our society. And so when we carry guilt, we're going to punish ourselves. And one of the common ways that we punish ourselves is by stopping ourselves from being happy and successful, by blocking that or sabotaging it. And sometimes even by beating ourselves up or getting somebody else to beat us up so that we're punished. And most of us carry guilt for a long time, like years and years and years. And do you know, if somebody kills another person, they get 8 years jail. So if you're carrying guilt for anything over 8 years, less than murder, you've done your time and it's time to let it go. Easy said, hard to do, right? So what do you need to do is, first of all, just understand that's something we're doing in our head, and then to drop underneath that into our heart, into our body, into our emotions, and feel, what's the feeling under this guilt? And we need to breathe and experience the feeling. So if it's a mom feels guilty losing her temper at her kids, it's like, what's the actual feeling about that? Maybe it's embarrassed. Maybe there's some remorse, some sadness for not living up to the values that we have. Maybe, some anger at ourselves or at the kids, without judging it. Just breathing in there. When you focus on something that you feel guilty, you can do it right now. Take a moment, just take a breath in your body, think of something you feel guilty. It's probably not that hard to get something. And then ask yourself, what's the emotion that's underneath this? Because in our heart-centered approach, we believe that emotions come first and thoughts come second. So the guilt is the product of avoiding feeling what's really going on. And so if you've let someone down, you've made a mistake, and it's led to them suffering, you only feel bad because you're a good person, you've got good values on that. So the healing happens by feeling the emotion that's underneath the guilt. And that sometimes it's powerless. You know, we feel guilty that we didn't do more when we just couldn't get there, maybe. So it takes time just to stop and drop into our body and allow ourselves to feel that powerlessness, undefended, right? Or that anger, or more likely, most likely, that remorse, that grief, that sense of sorrow, which is, you know, that's a real palpable emotion that's in our body that we're carrying as a residue from that past experience. And so what we do is we just breathe into it and we push everything else back, we give ourselves some space to allow ourselves just to feel whatever's there with a breath, with gentleness and openness and kindness. Just allow ourselves to feel. When you do that, you're healing the emotion, the energy that's been driving the guilt. And if you do it for a little while, you're going to soften through the present moment and connect in your heart and come back to your own basic goodness. Come back to your own sense of love and worthiness and goodness and deservability. And that's my tip for today. And we had a fantastic core clearing breathwork coach session last night. It was open to the public. If you missed it, we've decided we're going to run another one next Tuesday night. And someone will put a link in below here to that event. So we'd love to have you come, and I'll guide you through this in person, and we'll journey a bit more in depth into resolving the subconscious emotional trauma that's causing problems in our life. I'd love to have you with us. So have a lovely guilt-free day, and be kind and gentle to yourself, and understand that you're always doing the best that you can with the knowledge and experiences that you've got available to you in each moment of your life. Take care.